To document what is criminal monitoring on the venue of the internet, and it is combined with the group stalking criminal system that the state is engaged in. So I want to make sure that you can see that. So I have more than one communication device. Right now I've opened up my laptop because as I was documenting in screenshots, the entity is blocking and this is the federal stalking conduct. So the entity that is monitoring on the internet, because I happen to be a target individual who is documenting this criminal conduct. Now, the purpose of the entity that is keeping you under surveillance, anything and everything that you're doing, like if you're shopping or whatever it is that you're reviewing online, the whole entity is reviewing it together. It's public information and everything. Because I am in the pattern of documenting and publishing evidence, the entity's objective is to block my ability to do that. And that is the substance of the federal stalking for the criminal purpose of obstruction of justice, which is an unlawful threat to your life. Okay, that's a psychopath. That's stalking, as you saw, the psychopath that's physically attacking you. That's a psychopath that's literally chasing you down the street while they're still monitoring obsessively, because that was the combination of those elements that you saw yesterday. Not only were they physically attacking, they were literally chasing me across, back and across the street, back and forth, while they were still monitoring the people of the state in vehicles, the people of the state that were surrounding in their homes, and the people of the state that were literally engaged in that. Everything that they were yelling about, every direction that they were walking, those were demons that were pacing around. That was an entity that was obsessively group stalking, never ceasing to engage in that pattern of conduct. Never. Do not be distracted by engaging in what is the criminal elements of monitoring via violence. And that's exactly what that was. And you're witnessing what is a life-threatening level of obsession. And that's what was exhibited on video and in still images by the people of the state whose license plate I captured. The light source is directly over me while I'm on that street. The street is covered in directed light. You could see they're driving in it. And the entity is also engaging in what is stalking in the path with a method of light activity. That was the tow truck driver, who's stopping in relevant position with on 17th Street. I took a picture of that. And then you have the gang of Gabriel, ARRIAGA, CARBAJAL, and his daughters and his wife, all of whom were monitoring, and then engaging in what is very demonic, menacing pacing as they were going up and down the street and then around the entrance. That was to keep me surrounded, and you saw the light source remain over me every move that I was making. That was P.O.C. Now, online, they're engaging in what is blocking my ability to open up an account. I just created an account online. I just got through creating it. And then after creating it, this is what I captured in images because I already went through the process um, of documenting it. After I go through the process of documenting it, the entity is monitoring online for purposes of creating these superficial obstacles. You create the Google account, and then instead of opening up the account so that you can use it, which again is ordinarily the case, you create it and then you get access to it. Okay, it's not hard. Google has not made it difficult to create a Google account and access your account. The entity creates, this is monitoring. Okay, and that this is teaching also what monitoring is. Those in relevant position and the state that's monitoring you on the venue of the internet, engaging in what is affecting in real time the operation of your communication device, your access online, and what you would dismiss or mistake for a malfunction or something, or some sort of need to verify your identity. They know exactly who you are. It's monitoring. So the entity creates this superficial barrier requiring a phone number. Of course, I enter a phone number, and then it stating it's been used too much. I've never used this phone number. I never verified. They actually use it as an every time in order to block access to the account. Google even sends it. So this is again on the venue of the internet. This is relevant for bringing into court, into federal prosecution, literally the company Google. Okay, and then you're also understanding what is prosecuting the state, because the state is also group stalking on the venue of the internet. But this is either actually the company Google that is engaged in that ongoing criminal obstruction, or you're talking about what is also inclusive of the ability of those who are monitoring on the venue of the internet, capable of engaging in this while they're in relevant position, engaging in the criminal system of surveillance. That is something that the ordinary target individual does not have to decipher. You do not have to determine that. You do not have to know that. Whatever venue that you're on, that's going to bring into controversy that third party. And Google is a third party on the venue of the internet. That's how you deal with that. This is the entity that's continuously creating these obstacles. As you can see here, I created the account. This is a very peculiar, while LAPD is outside of my apartment, flying in circles, amplifying it. And while Emily Gonzalez, this is Hector Gonzalez's adult daughter. Hold on, I want you to see that. 1800, apartment number 4, Hector Aparicio. This is his adult daughter. She's going to federal prison. She's at the age of majority. She's engaged in federal stalking, sending me a text message. Is serving the criminal system of surveillance and monitoring. And this is for the purpose of her just communicating that, oh, I can't get in hold of Maria. I sent Maria an email, the substance of which is regarding the physical attack that this entity engaged in, acting via Gabriel, Arriaga, Carbajal, and all of those demon-possessed females that were literally chasing me up and down the street while the entity was monitoring. That was a pack of demons that engaged in an act of violence that I documented for purposes of criminal monitoring, which again, bigger picture, this is indeed a public safety concern. And the entity that is obsessively stalking in helicopter, including right now, including while this entity sent me this text message, this is operation of the communication device. Okay? And so in order to upload this, the entity is still sounding helicopter activity, monitoring on my phone, seeking to obstruct my ability to access the Google Drive. So this is what I want to document. This is the same entity that's physically attacking you, that's monitoring you, that is also then engaging with ongoing group stalking. They don't stop stalking in helicopters. They don't stop monitoring on the phone. They just want to stop you from being able to publish it on the internet, which is what I am doing. Okay, it's nonetheless federal stalking. The entity that's keeping you under surveillance, that is group stalking you, is engaging in federal stalking on the internet using communication devices. Also, because I happen to be one who is exposing it and is documenting it in a way that this entity has never been approached with before, the criminal objective while federal stalking is underway is seeking to obstruct justice by virtue of blocking the ability to access Google Drive. And all the ways in which they're doing that is what I'm documenting for purposes of criminal prosecution. And it will result in what any and everything that's necessary. That includes prosecution of Google itself. I want to be clear. Google is a documented third party, by the way. When publishing perfectly innocent videos, I mean videos of the sky, of the sun, there's nothing that is in any way resulting in what was age restrictions, which YouTube, Google is a third party. And that's how they were obstructing justice, blocking my video documentation at the time when I had my YouTube channel. The entity was engaging in what is interfering with the federal investigation. Let me be clear. Google's location is in California. They are within the state's facilitating venue. The whole state of California is where the pattern of conduct is underway, and Google happens to be located in California, just as an aside. But even if they were in Pennsylvania, Google is still relevant to what is prosecution. But I want to be clear, Google not only on the venue of the internet, engaging what is discriminating against my perfectly harmless video documentation. Why are you targeting my videos that are about literally the sun? Okay, my video is about the sun and nobody should be paying attention to that, right? They were engaged in, and this is heavily documented. I have it already. And this is another grounds for Google being prosecuted in federal court. Google represents the people of the state. It's just on the venue of the internet. And so I want you to understand and open your mind and recognize the entity, the state, the people of the state. All they do is go and get on a laptop, go get on a computer, go get on their tablet, go get on their iPhone, go get on their cell phone, and they're online following you and blocking you, working for third-party facilitating venues such as YouTube, who's located in California, by the way, targeting your documentation that you're uploading onto the internet. This is how this is all interconnected. It's not far out and dispersed and separate, actually. You're looking at what is a very oiled system. And that's already evidence that exists about Google. All I'm speaking to is the obstruction of justice. And so this is also serving to document, because I opened up another folder, but this hardship that the ordinary target individual shall not be subject to. It's a threat to your life while the entity is attacking you in these ways that you saw yesterday. Yesterday was May 8th, 2024. The entity that is, again, criminally summoning that entity. All right. They're the ones that attacked me. So you're talking about summoning the entity after you attack me. The target individual is not going to summon the police that are stalking them day and night, terrorizing them, kidnapping them, criminally defaming them, kidnapping them, and then sexually assaulting them and putting them into the mental facility upon false allegations in concert with the people of the state. You're not going to summon that entity. All right. And so I want to be clear. This is the threat to your life, your safety, your liberty. This is the intolerable level of obstruction of justice. The entirety of that Los Angeles Police Department, who is group stalking because they are so pathetic and fearful while they are still obsessively monitoring you. They don't stop the crime. They just want to stop you from reporting, but they do not stop the crime while there's a real-time threat to your safety. Okay, which you saw on video. So I want to make sure that I document that you really understand that. I need you to absorb that because that's very real for the ordinary target individual who does not have a voice. Okay, very well could have ended up kidnapped last night because that's how the entity is engaging in. This is how the system works. This is what they're doing to people in this country who are getting attacked, and then the entity is summoned on them, and then they're kidnapped, and they're facing false allegations, and they're sitting around in a jail somewhere, and they're being subject to what is a fictitious prosecution, and the pattern of conduct continues in the sheriff's department. Those are demons that are engaging in group stalking in the facilities, engineered light, pacing around demonic behavioral pattern for purposes of psychological torture while they're kidnapping you and exercising a fictitious authority, not only based on making up charges, but because they're engaging in state surveillance, criminal surveillance. They don't have any jurisdiction under the law. They don't have it. Okay, they're entirely illegitimate. And these are those that are sitting on benches, group stalking. And that's how you get the light source over a courthouse. As I've shown you, the San Bernardino Superior Court in San Bernardino, California, and the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court of San Bernardino County in Rancho Cucamonga, California. All right, it is currently 7:51 a.m. This is documentation of what is criminal obstruction of justice. The entity monitoring me inside of the private space in concert with LAPD while I'm getting text messages, which is the operation of your communication device. All right. And this is the specific environment, just like you saw while the entity engaged in a physical attack yesterday, May 8th, 2024 at 5:21 p.m., where the entity is engaging in what is physically attacking me while I'm engaging in walking down the street, minding my business, holding my phone, which should not be a threat to any average person, but to the entity that's monitoring you, that is targeting you, that is focused on you, that's literally watching you. You have what is literally on the surface appearing to be some unfounded paranoia. And then when you get a response to what is your unfounded questions, which no person should have to give to you, because regardless of whether someone's taking a picture near your property, what is that? And where are you to be watching that? Like, what are you doing? You've got an ongoing implied admission. I'm following you. I'm watching you through those, through what I documented yesterday. So I want to make sure that you see that.
Don't fucking do that to me. Don't put your hand on me.
Wow, you touched me first.
So you're witnessing what is malice because this third party, you can hear him. He's approaching me. You see the light source over my head. This is all manner of a threat already. As I was walking down the street, they were cussing, calling me B, effing B, yelling out, which is monitoring. They're monitoring while they're doing that. It's audible activity. It's they're engaged in relevant positioning. These are demons that are monitoring through hostility and violence. Okay. And so he is literally chasing me down the street. I began recording to capture this criminal act perpetrated against me whilst monitoring is underway. The light source is hovering over me. I'm at the same property where the so-called sunset is arriving through my living room window. I'm on Alvarado Street on the curb outside of the same property. This third party, Gabriel ARRIAGA CARBAJAL, chases me. I'm walking in a direction opposite of him, and he's yelling and cussing. Again, this is a demon. So once I start recording on video, this third party is chasing me down the street and gets in front of me, blocks my path, and then begins assaulting me. He's pulling my hair. He's trying to take my phone out of my hand. And then this demon says, I hit him. Everything that you could see in the video is clearly demonstrating and revealing the fact that he attacked me. I want to let you know about the demon possessed, the malice of this entity. And that malice is captured on video. This is the entity that's group stalking 24/7. This is the entity that's stalking in helicopters. They do the same thing with regard to arresting you as though they have probable cause, as though they have facts and circumstances stating any basis to arrest you under any circumstances when they're stalking you. This is the malice exhibited by the entity that's in the courts in creating paperwork, creating a narrative with regard to court hearings and information, establishing some sort of prosecution against you, and they're making it up as they go, literally making up names, making up information. That's exactly what you see here. This is a third party that's monitoring, physically attacks me, and then says out of his mouth, which is audible activity monitoring me, in the engineer light under the light source at 5:21 in the afternoon, which is, I hit him. And he chased me down and tried to take my phone out of my hand, pulled my hair, hitting me, attacking me. Okay, that's the threat to your life. That's the mental illness with regard to what is a psychopath, not somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. Somebody that is wicked and evil, sociopathic, psychopathic. That's that mind state, which is a threat to the public.
You're going to federal prison. You're going to federal prison.
I want you to pay attention to this is the third party. This is a demon also. I need you to be clear. These are demons. And this is engineer light on the sidewalk in the shade. I want you to look at this. That's engineer light right here. Impossible light activity right here. This is the light source right above. Okay, they're monitoring. And these are demons that are menacing around me, engaging in what is attack because they don't want me to continue walking down the street documenting third parties.
You're going to federal prison. You're going to federal prison. You're going to federal prison. That's Gabriel, Arriaga, CARBAJAL.
No, man.
They knocked my cup out of my hand after he attacks me. This is a male. This is a male, and these are his daughters. Gabriel, Arriaga, CARBAJAL, and his two daughters are monitoring via violence. What they're doing, walking around, these are demons that are pacing around, and this is under the guise of what is engaging what is an argument that they are inciting. She's chasing me across the street to monitor, but this is a hostile demon, okay? And I also want to be clear, the entity wanted me to respond with violence so that they could call the entity that's stalking in helicopter. They want to call LAPD on the target individual when you are defending yourself. Okay. Now, if I would have knocked this girl out, okay, it's not about my ability. It's about understanding the threat that's posed against you. You're dealing with the government. Okay. So understand the threat that the ordinary target individual has a right to not be subject to. The reason why she's pursuing, not only is she monitoring, the entity wanted me to respond physically so that they can he was already lying, saying that I hit him. She's pursuing again, stating, oh, no, he did not hit you. They all know exactly what happened. And this third party puts her hand on my right wrist. She grabs my wrist. She gets in my gets in my face because they want me to respond physically. While, by the way, they are monitoring. This is the state that's group stalking you, the state of California. And the state wants you to engage in responding physically so that they have on its face, some grounds to summon the entity. It's criminal summoning. When they are attacking you, they are monitoring you. This is the public safety concern. This is what ordinary target individuals are faced with. They're sitting in jail. They're facing false charges. And the entity is engaging in this gang-like conduct against American citizens. And they are facing fictitious prosecutions that are entertained in the courts in the state of California who don't have any jurisdiction because they're monitoring.
Your hands on me, and it's all on tape. It's all on tape.
I need you to pay attention to her shadow that was in front of her while she was in the shade. She's walking in into the light. She's monitoring. I need you to pay attention to that. Hold on. This is a demon who's monitoring and doing so through violence. So
criminal system. This is LAPD monitoring with them.
Sorry, I fast forwarded too far. Let me go back. Okay, this is the impossible light activity. She's walking in the engineer light. She's monitoring.
Arriaga, CARBAJAL,
no, man.
Putting your hands on me, and it's all on tape.
Okay.
It's all on.
Her shadow's in front of her. The light source is facing her. That's impossible light activity she's walking in. It's impossible light activity that the people of the state are driving, and they're monitoring me while this act of violence is underway by an entire entity.
It's all on tape. Yes, you did.
Right here.
Get out of my face. Get out of my face. Get out of my face.
Get out of mine.
Put your hands on me like your dad did. Get out of my face.
My dad didn't do shit.
Nobody cares, Satan. Get out of my face.
Satan.
Get out of my
Satan.
face. Get out of my face.
Have you seen yourself?
I told you don't touch me.
I'm sorry.
I told you don't touch me.
Okay, that's an assault and battery by the entity who wants me to respond physically. This is all audible activity. This is seeking to incite violence on my behalf. They're all going to federal prison, including every third party. They're driving in the engineer light. They're driving into the light source. This is the demonic entity that is monitoring you. They are hostile. Let me be clear. Satan is seething because I stepped off the property to document more. Not only the license plates that I documented are going to federal prison. Let me be clear. The properties. You see the light source over those houses on Alvarado? They're all going to federal prison, literally by address. The third party, they are engaging in what is audible activity creation as I walk toward the property, the Alvarado Gardens, the apartments of building 1800 nearest Alvarado Street. They began creating amplified audible activity, and they're all going to federal prison. They were monitoring, and they were a part of what is assault and battery. This is why you don't want to engage in this system, because what one does, the whole entity does. And I want to be clear, they engage in this gang conduct regularly. They're understanding what's going to be the consequences for engaging in that massive level of gang stalking. Gang stalkers engage in what are murdering people together. They engage in what are attacking people together. They engage in what are defaming people together. They engage in what is kidnapping people together. All right.
But this is 7ZTR 945.
7ZTR 945 is engaging in an assault and battery in concert. They're monitoring together. Understand that. It's all audible activity, relevant positioning. The light source is directly above my head. These are demons that are pacing in vehicles, and these are demons that are physically accosting me, pacing all around me, yelling, which are all three elements of monitoring.
Monitoring, do not show 7DNT 514, and this is an assault.
7DNT 154 is going to federal prison.
By the entity engaged in P.O.C, monitoring while the entities, they're all going monitoring while I'm out minding my business, holding my phone, and you just saw a battery. This is the entity that...
Directed light is all in this street. Pay attention. Look at the light activity. This is what you're paying attention to while they're physically attacking, and while the entity is driving, all in it. They're monitoring together. They're engaging in what is federal offenses and they're going to federal prison together.
7 DNC 514, and this is an assault and battery by the entity engaged in P.O.C, monitoring while the entities, they're all...
Okay, I need you to pay attention to right here. This is where you'll see the shadow activity down here. It's impossible that, first of all, that's the shadow and the shade conduct. And you have what is the shadow that's appearing in engineered light on the street. This is the street where the people of the state are driving. These are the same sex offenders that are monitoring me as I'm inside of my apartment. The entity was hostile because I went to the street to document more of the people of the state. Okay, that's literally what this is about. Outrage because I'm documenting more. The entity is not in any way insulating the prosecution and federal imprisonment of only those that are Alvarado Gardens. All right, this is, again, fear of an entity that knows, well, let's see, the entity does not know everything that's coming, but you're talking about what is great fear because you're thinking that you're going to insulate. You're not insulating. You're not protecting anybody. You just literally, everybody else just got more time in federal prison, and every license plate and every address that I'm around is going to federal prison. Okay, this is an act of violence by the entity. And the Los Angeles Police Department, that's an afterthought. Okay, you're talking about disbanding in federal prison all around.
I'm monitoring while I'm out minding my business, holding my phone, and you just saw a battery. This is the entity that's engaged in that criminal system. This is LAPD monitoring with them, putting their hands on me. License 9GZJ561. Why are they so
9ZGJ561 is going to federal prison.
concerned while I'm holding up my phone? This is the P.O.C.
Okay, it's 5:21 p.m. I captured video documentation. That's the physical violence that I suffered. At the same time as I documented, just so that you can see, the entity is maintaining a light source over me in an entirely different region. And you're looking at what is the pattern of stalking with engineered light, that which you've seen demonstrated by demons such as Universal Waste Systems, as Ryder, as Center for Better Life, Vanessa Dries of 1812 apartment number 5, Tiffany Sherez of an exceedingly hostile, which is a life threat to you and your safety, while demons are hostile because you're exposing their condition and their criminal conduct of a psychopath, revealing both their mental illness and the threat to your life, which is a public safety concern to American citizens in this country. And this is 5:21 p.m. when they're engaging in physically attacking me. All right. I'm documenting, you're going to juxtapose that with what I'm documenting in Rancho Cucamonga, California at the same time, inside of the parking garage where no sunlight is bending underneath into the depths of the parking structure. You're looking at the pattern of what is stalking in the path with engineered light while the light source is hovering over me inside while I'm at this parking structure.
Okay, this is entirely demonic. This is directed light that's going, if you pay attention, and fanning out in both directions. All right, and the objective of demons are to maintain presence in this environment. This is directed light that's going all out in this direction. This is the objective. That's impossible light as well. And this is a demon that's crossing path in it. IONSUN, crossing path where it is occurring around me. You're paying attention to what is stationary directed light. This is inside of a parking garage. That is on the ceiling. This is all impossible light. Okay, my shadow's reaching.
Okay, the sound of that vehicle, that's amplification of audible activity. It's serving for monitoring me while you're surrounded by the engineer light in the depths of a parking garage. This is not only impossible light activity. Understand that that is synonymous. This is demonic. This is demonic. And this is speaking to a population. You've got a random parking garage filled with the hallmarks. This is speaking to a state system. Very far, by the way, from Alvarado Gardens, where this system is underway. They are living, engaging in what is 24-hour commitment to a criminal system by the state of California, which is the grounds of federal prison. This is in Victoria Gardens in Rancho Cucamonga, California.
There, this is demonic. This is P.O.C. This is state surveillance at what is Victoria Gardens. You've seen this before. Where did you see this? You see my shadow over there? Where have we seen it? Multiple shadows. Pay attention. This conduct at Fontana Lewis Library. While I'm inside of that library showing you what's the fake sun through that window of that library, well, here it is right here at Victoria Gardens.
All right, so I want you to look at that, and then you're going to look at what's hovering over me while I am subject to a physical attack by the entity that is group stalking and is exceedingly hostile because of the fact that I am exposing their criminal conduct by virtue of documenting third parties who are under a light source, which is not possibly the sun.
And that's Gabriel Ariaga.
5:21 p.m. This is the same time. I want you to look at the light source, and this is the environment that they're in. Engineered light all over the asphalt, engaging in what is yelling, moving all around is audible activity creation, and Here's the light source. All right, over me. Hold on. I want you to see it because I want you to recognize. And this is the state that's group stalking by helicopter, LAPD. This is the state acting as one. It's not separate. And this is what you're going to learn about group stalking. They're acting as a group. It is in the title. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get to the part where you can see the light source clearly. Oh, there we go. This is the light source hovering directly above me. Let's get here.
My phone. This is the P.
All right, at 5:21 p.m. I started this video. I started recording. So you're talking about what is the entity that's keeping this light source over me as a matter of documentation on the on the same day in an entirely different region at 5:19 at the Rancho Cucamonga, at the Rancho Cucamonga parking garage. Okay, this is impossible to be the natural environment. Also, sunlight doesn't create your shadow in the shade. This is the same engineered light that you're seeing filling a parking garage. This is the hallmark of that criminal system. And it's also revealing the condition of those that are engaging in this group stalking system. And this is a demon-possessed population, and they are exceedingly violent. They are exceedingly hostile, not only to your knowledge of what they are doing, intending to do it secretly, also exceedingly hostile to the fact of your knowledge of their condition, that they are demon-possessed. Okay, the more that you expose it, the more that you speak to it, the more that the demon-possessed act true to form. And this is what you've seen exhibited by the Los Angeles Police Department engaging in what are group stalking in a perceptible manner, because they're engaged in 24-hour surveillance and helicopter. And they do so more as I expose more, the more that I speak to the fact that they're demons, the more that I speak to the different federal charges that they're subject to, that they're going to be prosecuted more. Then you have what is flying in front of my window for 47 minutes in a circle. That's very disturbing on its face, even if you don't know that demons are pacing in the engineered light. Okay, but that's demonic activity that the entity engages in with the intent to psychologically torment you and threaten you. And then you have the entity flying over 25 to 30 times in a day by helicopter. This is what the Los Angeles Police Department has been engaged in for a prolonged period. And that's not the sun. That's not the natural environment. It's impossible.
Having nothing to do with what is light that's appearing up there.
That is over me while I'm at a parking garage in Rancho Cucamonga. And on this day, on the April 23rd, same time of year, daylight savings time. The entity is maintaining the light source over me as I arrive in Rancho Cucamonga at the Paul Bayan Library, which I heavily documented the maintenance of the light source. So I'm in Rancho Cucamonga from morning until evening, and I leave at 5:19 p.m. This video is approximately almost 3.5 minutes long, 21, 22. Okay, so this is the exact same time. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because this is the insurmountable evidence of what is the system that I have been demonstrating and establishing so that you can understand it and you can see what it is that I'm describing with your own eyes. All right. And so this is the light source that's over me in some random parking garage in Rancho Cucamonga. That's not the sun that will be over me at the same time on Alvarado Street, on specifically over my head, while you're looking at what is also not even sunlight, nor is this sunlight inside of this parking garage. That's impossible light activity. And that's not possibly the sun that remains for the duration of the day. And it's also not going to be present in its zenith over my head at both places at the same time. Okay.
Through that window, that library. Well, here it is right here at Victoria Garden.
All right, that's the pattern.
Having nothing to do with what is light that's appearing up there. Here's my shadow here. There's my shadow over there. That's the shadow of vehicles moving. Impossible light. The mark.
That's what you see Universal Waste engaging in while they drive beside building 1818. That's what you see demons Gabriel Arriaga CARBAJAL while he drives by building 1818, engaging in the same conduct. That's what you see underway inside of a parking garage. This is the hallmark. It is the mark of demon possession. Excuse me. It's the outward demonstration of demon possession. That's how you know that they are demons. They're not just stalking. It's also the ongoing admission. Yes, I'm group stalking you. This is what group stalkers do. Demons are stalking, maintaining presence all around you. They do so with the simultaneous presence of the engineered light. So you do that by keeping engineered light inside of the apartment. That's what I've shown you. You do that by keeping a light source over the location of the target individual for the duration of the day, which you are mistaking as the natural environment. It's clearly not natural. All you have to do is document that. And not only did I do that, I juxtapose it with what's documented in an entirely different region. Hence this, the parking garage off of Q Avenue in Rancho Cucamonga, the Victoria Gardens, by the way. You have what is the entity maintaining a light source for the duration of the day. And then you have in Los Angeles, the entity engaging engaging in what is rising and setting the so-called sun as I remain inside of my apartment in Los Angeles, California, 1806 North Alvarado Street, and I'm at this same address at 5:27 p.m.
This
where
is
I'm
the P.O.C.
subject to the criminal pattern of conduct, and the entity does so via violence. This is also the intent to obstruct justice, and that's what they're doing also on the video of the internet. So everyone, like I said, not only the third party, I documented the tow driver. I'm going to civilly and criminally sue that company. I'm going to civilly and criminally prosecute the state, obviously. But everybody that's documented by address, by license plate, by company name, they're going to federal prison. Okay, that is the entity that's engaging in these levels, and it gets worse. So, like I said, people have lost their lives by this gang conduct, by this entity. All right, there are people that are sitting around kidnapped somewhere and defamed, facing literally fictitious allegations. They make it up, and the court can do that because they are sitting in a position of power, which they are masquerading as having jurisdiction that they do not have. Okay, because they're engaging in monitoring. And when the court says, well, the targeted individual did X, Y, and Z, and so we're sentencing them to this, it's not questioned. And so they sit and they are sitting around kidnapped. And I've documented it. I've been subject to it. Okay. So this is understanding the threat to the public safety. This is understanding the need for what is disbanding. This is understanding what is necessary as a matter of justice. And that's federal prison, the removal from these positions in law enforcement, in the legal profession, off of the bench. You will never be a judge. And it's going to be a matter of public information as to why. All right. And it is currently 8:11 a.m. on Thursday, May 9th, 2024. What I also want to point out to you, obviously, the entity receiving an email from me, which I specifically published and put in the, I'm going to prosecute. This is all documenting the entity that's engaged in group stalking. And this email was sent to Don Noggle, a third party. It was sent to Kimberly Fletcher, Selena Robledo, Maria Solis. And these are all third parties, and Speaker Companies itself is a third party. This entity that's monitoring is also the entity that is employing me. Speaker Companies is not an independent actor, not exercising any constitutional rights. And that's how you have the specific environment where I work. That's why you have all hallmarks present where I work. That's why you have the so-called co-workers engaging in the same criminal system, the same group stalking behavior where I work. And the entity is doing so while I am subject to what is physical violence at that property. And it does reasonably present a threat of your safety. And this is what I'm presenting to them. The entity that's monitoring is already aware of this. This is just an ongoing step with regard to documentation of what I'm subject to in the workplace. And as a resident manager, you have residents that are so bold to physically attack you upon what allegations that are not only, number one, unfounded. Why are you chasing somebody down when I'm either if somebody either ignores you or dismisses you, says no, and continues to walk? Why are you then pursuing it even more? Why are you then engaging in what are acts of violence? Why are you engaging in what is literally menacing conduct, like continuously pursuing? You can see this in the video, all because you were yelling as I was walking down the street. I'm not even aware of your presence, and you're concerned about whether I'm taking a picture of your car. Okay. Now, this is in their alternate universe where they have yet to face a prosecution of a federal nature in court, and everything about what they're doing is exposed. Even so, they're facing the music now while I'm documenting them because the target individual is not going to in any way be inhibited from enforcing your rights against a government that's monitoring you. And the reality is that these are demons who are engaging in group stalking and federal stalking on the video of the internet. They know exactly what I'm taking pictures of. This is a psychopath asking questions. This is why that psychopath is being violent in speech and in behavior. They know exactly what's being documented, and they are both fearful, but the demon possessed, which is a threat to your life and safety, when they are fearful, they act violently. They engage in things like kidnapping. They engage in things such as making up information to threaten your reputation, to threaten your safety while they are sitting in positions of authority, all right, in order to do so, because this is the state, a public entity's criminal act. All right. And so that's the substance of this email. And you have third party group stalker Emily Gonzalez of 1800 number 4 engaging in federal stalking on the venue of the internet, sending me a text message that she hasn't been able to get in contact with Maria. Maria is a recipient of this email. So I just want to make sure I point all that out. It is currently 8:14 a.m. on Thursday, May 9th, 2024. I remain subject to, again, it's a threat to my life on an ongoing basis while the entity is engaged in group stalking. Perhaps you saw that vividly illustrated when the entity engages in what is a physical attack. All right. And unfortunately for the ordinary target individual, but for the ability, the prudence to navigate those sorts of conduct by an entity, you are very likely to result in being kidnapped and defamed while they are waging an attack against you, the target individual, unfortunately, is the one that's suffering, calling the police on you, the police that are stalking you, calling them on you, and then you're kidnapped. And then for some reason, let me be clear, when you're talking about allegations, let's just say, oh, you stole my dog, and then they'll put you in the mental facility for that sort of allegation. How do you get from that to the mental facility? It's the pattern of conduct, because that's where the entity wants you to end up anyway. And I've documented that. Not actually allegations of stealing a dog, but you're talking about what is an unlawful arrest in the first place. How do you even get to the mental facility? How do you get from that to that? Because that's the entity's purpose in the first place. That's why you engage in group stalking in the first place. Just want to point that out to you. It is currently 8:15 in the morning, Thursday, May 9th, 2024. This is P.O.C.